What's up, everybody? I'm Nova coming at you with another one. Following up on Bitcoin, doing a couple recaps. You may notice the Gann fans are grayed out, so it's not so noisy. And the predictions of the 111 and the 350 times 1.618. We noticed that the tops were forecasted at about 90% uh, down towards the crossover of the 111 crossover of the 1618 uh, 1618 times the 350-day average. And in the past, this seemed to be repeatable. The Bitcoin indicator, or the pi indicator, was the cross between the 350 times 2 and the 111 here. We're just forecasting by the way the moving averages are pointed towards where we think it would have happened. But the only first confirmation would be way back around 2013, where we cross right here, the 111, which is the green, and the 1618 times 350-day average right there. And then measuring from the top down, right? And I'm starting to wonder if these computer algos using pi and all that other stuff, I'm not a quant, I don't know math very well, but I notice every time we measure up, we try and figure out what the heck's going on, right? And if we go up, over here it's 1300%, and over here we got 1000%, and over here this would have been 1065%. And it's not that bad, but it could be like 300% off. And I found if you measure from the top down, I don't know, maybe somebody could explain that, but that seems to be a more accurate representation of what happened in the past. And if it happened 1, 2, 3, 4 times, where are we here? Yeah, 4 times. What are the odds of it happening a 5th time? And if it were to happen a 5th time, we're looking at over 200,000 for Bitcoin to hit. And now I don't know if you noticed, but everyone and their mother is getting into Bitcoin now. And I'm recording this on a 4K TV so that I could show you, everything Bitcoin right from the time it started trading, right about there. So that would be not necessarily the Garden of Eden, because that's not when Bitcoin started. This is when it started trading on exchanges. And excuse me, you can see right here, we're on the log scale. And if you have a 4K TV, this might be easier for you to see. I'll zoom in as well. Previous videos show how I figured out this 90% from a top, so we can predict. But we also, the pi indicator, which is the relationship of the 350-day average and the 111-day average. So 350 divided by 111 is very close to pi, or 3.14. And every time it crossed, again, here it's just forecasted, but every time it crossed, it actually predicted a top. And I don't have that turned on, so let's go to settings, and we will turn on our top indicator. And you can see here it was not forecasted because we didn't have any crosses. Here it was forecasted, each one within 3 days of a top. So even if you were off by like $5,000, well, you wouldn't be off by 5,000 up here, but even if you were off by 5,000 in the last run, would you not be happy that you, you made like all of this money? This thing topped out at around, what was that? 20, around 20K, you know? And if you got in at five and you were off by, you would have 300%ed your money. Now, if you were off by 5,000 at 200,000, would you care? I wouldn't. So now we're looking for future markers as to when this top is going to happen. The 90 percenter is the first signal that I want to say that I discovered, but just found a relationship between the two. And that means we are looking at this 90% pullback. Um, I'm going to be shooting for under 90 just in case if everyone else starts watching that. I don't know if people are going to discover that. But then the 111 closing in on the orange 350, that cross is the top within 3 days. And then things go wild after that. I don't think we're anywhere near this right now. I think I was thinking we were here, but now I'm wondering if we're here. So, and if we're here, we're going to come down and we're going to test that 111 again. So we've done it here, done it here, we've done it here, we've done it here. So placing bids along the 111, I think would be, I don't know, a safer bet. And if we look at what's going on over here, there's that cross that we were talking about. And we can see that the 350 and the 1618 are getting narrow, and they are in relationship to the 350-day, which is the pink line here, or violet. We're also seeing compression or a potential cross of the 111 and the 350 times 2, which is the orange, right? And the last time, every time it happened, whenever there was a cross, that was a signal that a top was very, very close. And we are going to squeeze everybody to get trapped up here. Now, I'm going to go against the grain and say that uh, even if you miss the top, I mean, I missed the top with Litecoin. So I got trapped in a bubble. And I had about 13 Litecoin at around 400 Canadian dollars. I don't remember what that came out to in US dollars, but it basically trapped me at around 400. I think it was a little bit under, but anyways. And this thing crashed all the way down to 250. It ground down, and I was told by a fellow cryptomaniac locally here that I had hands of steel because I let that thing go all the way down to 250 and refused to relinquish my crypto. And it's gone back up to about 300. So, I think Litecoin is the next one to take off. What are we at? 8 minutes. Okay. So everything is played out in the past. And W.D. Gann says that cycles will repeat themselves. And if you don't believe it, then you don't believe in the clock, because 12 o'clock repeats itself twice a day. So now we're just watching the 111 and the 350 for that cross. So what are the relationships between what happened in the past and what's happening now? We have that cross that has happened. Check. We had price go over the 350. Check. And now we're waiting for a correction. We did not get this guy right here, which, well, I guess we could say that it was this pullback here, which became a wedge. But we didn't officially get one going all the way down to the 111. So it could be that this move here has been negated. Or it could mean that I don't know. Maybe we're headed up around here. But anyways, this squeeze up seems to be indicative of what's happening here. And now we're going to wait and see if we see the pullback. So when we saw this happen above the 350, how many times did this do this? We had one major one, a second major one, a tiny one, and then berserk, that squeeze. And I believe this is right around where futures expired on Bitcoin. So maybe write that down. Um, so that's basically where we are. We are officially in the bubble and the major rally to the top. Where the top is going to be, we don't know for certain, but based on the past, we are forecasting 90% top from the cross, and that's putting us around $190,000 for one Bitcoin. Uh, and that goes back to, even if you got trapped up here and you were patient, you're in the money, aren't you? And if you were a complete believer, messiah, whatever you want to call yourself, with regards to buying more, the guys that stayed up here and refused to sell, and then once we broke this critical support of around 6,000, everything under here was a major buy opportunity. Then we had that false rally, and then we're off to what's going on here. So I think that's where we're at right now. This section here has to be one of these two. Which one it is, I'm not entirely sure. I'm starting to think, um, again, that was negated. We're after the cross, right? Like this one happened before the cross, and this one happens, like the argument could be it's before, it's more like during. So maybe we're going to see another run up to about, I'm forecasting around, I don't know, 69,000. And then we'll see maybe a 40% correction before we head up to about 90. And after that, I don't know yet. But now that we covered the 90 percenters, we're at 12 minutes. Let's cover the 40 percenters. What do I mean by that? Top to top. And then, where was it? Top to top. This one was a little bit more. And then, where are you? About 40. You see how that's going? And again, I'm measuring, it's hard to explain, but I'm measuring top to top, but from the top to the bottom of the previous top. And I'm finding close to 40. Okay. Okay. Well, that's an interesting relationship. What about bottom to bottom? We will do that as well. So bottom to bottom, and then we go bottom to bottom, and then bottom, somewhere around here. You could argue that this might have been noise, 41, or we could say 46. So once we start seeing around 40, or we could go a little higher and say that if the bottom, if price goes above and starts crashing down to around 45 to 40%, that could be where the dip plays are going to be, right? I can't remember if this worked up here too. Well, 37, it's close. And did it work at the top? I think this is the one where it went like 70% or something. 60. Yeah, that would have been a good signal. And over here, 75%. So another signal that we could probably look for check marks on. And then this is the dip here to this dip here. Again, 45, 40, 49. uh, that sort of thing. So I wonder if that is going to be the previous tops and bottoms. So that's what I basically forecasted. Yeah, about 90, around 50%. We'll see if that plays out correctly. Let me zoom in a little more. Did I go too high? Yeah, right about there. I guess we could go a little lower. Anything above, oh, here it is. That's 40. So 69. Yep. So this move might go up. We'll see a bit of a dip, bounce off the 20, I guess, and then eventually a turn up around 69,000. And then if that is the case, we're looking for a bottom. And if we consider this the bottom, um, 40% would be around the 49K. So up to 69, down to 49, or up to 70, down to 50, and then we continue on. And if that is the case, we're looking at a new top of maybe around 120,000. And then from 120,000, well, let's say 111 just to, yeah, right about there. But we won't cover that yet. That is way too much forecasting into the future. I'm just letting you know how I'm starting to look at things. So we have the check mark that we're in the FOMO bubble right now. News will start showing everybody is a financial advisor. I think there's some movie stars out there already talking about it. We all know that Elon bought 1.6 billion, but he didn't buy it when the news came out. Do some digging and you'll find out when he bought it. And then, of course, you'll say, oh, of course, I would have bought it then too. Anyway, classic W. We failed that dip over here. This squeezed up. I think we're going to roll over, try and find support maybe on the 20 or the 50 before we ultimately go up to maybe about 68, 69, 70,000, and then the next correction. And lo and behold, isn't that like bouncing right where this noise is happening? So this triangle is predicting future support, right? Present resistance becomes future support. It's like black magic. That is it for Bitcoin. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you know anything that I don't know? Um, don't know what else to say. All I ask is that you look at the past, look left, and see if you can find relationships in the future that have repeated themselves in the past. And this, I have noticed, has been repeating. I don't know if anyone's talking about this. I notice on YouTube, they always say the thumbnails are hilarious. Everyone's got their mouth gaping open, clickbait, and they're telling you that no one else is talking about this. Meanwhile, they're all talking about it. I can't say that about this. Maybe people are talking about this. I wouldn't know, but this is what I see Bitcoin doing in the very near future. So, if you're watching this on your 4K TV, this is on a 50. You'll probably be able to make out a lot more of this noise because this is super messy. And I will zoom in like so for the thumbnail so that everybody doesn't scream at me. And I will turn that off. Oops, turn that off. We're down to seconds. And that, oops, that I think is what I'm looking at. So trade safe.